Good Wednesday morning from the Oklahoman's video studio. Dave Morris, joined today by David Kennedy. He's the editor-in-chief of Hot Rod Magazine. Sir, great to see you, great to meet you.
Good morning, great to be here as well. And I'm doing Hot Rod's Power Tour pre-run. This is effectively a 20-year-old road trip story that we started as magazine guys in California and we wanted to take our audience with us on our summer road trips. So now, more than 20 years later, here we are, and there's more cars, more people, and more media possibility than ever before. So it requires me to come on a pre-run to check it all out.
We'll get into those details. The actual event will be Wednesday, June 15th at Remington Park from noon to around 7 p.m. that night. But before we get there, this gentleman is taking a pre-run, if you will. And this is kind of cool to look at the local stops that will be on the tour. So let's back up and first of all talk about Hot Rod Magazine and its history.
Sure. So this is a magazine that's now 68 years old. Started in Los Angeles, California by a guy named Bob Peterson, and it's evolved in both media platform and voice and direction since the beginning. But hot rodding is essentially a constant improvement. How do you improve what you have? And in this case, it's cars and vehicles. One of the great improvements you can do to the cars after you've finished it, you want to show it and share what you've done with other people, like-minded people.
Sure.
So Power Tour becomes a road trip for people from all over the country to show off and share what they've done.
You've seen Hot Rod the magazine evolve over the years, right? And now it's in this form of social media, community engagement, and events.
Sure. I look at engagement is success. The deeper, the more enriched the opportunity to reach, and connect with the audience, the better. So for us, we've been able to connect to a magazine for more than 6 decades. In modern times, you can connect with people on their phone, on their laptop, computer, on their favorite YouTube channel. So we want to mix and get that balance right. It used to be we'd tell people to buy a magazine or subscribe. Now we want to say, well, where are you? Where do you enjoy collecting your media? We'll be there too.
It's a great idea, and of course it's all the social media, Instagram, hot rods, and fancy cars just lends itself to the visuals.
It does, and that's the thing that we're finding is that people want to share their own media, become the big show, and an event like a Power Tour becomes that big show, big opportunity. If we have more than 1,000 cars on hand, that's more than 1,000 photographers. That's more than 1,000 people tweeting and hashtagging Power Tour. It ends up becoming this coalition of not only car enthusiasts, but also kind of media generators.
So it's a various tour, and you're looking at some footage there from hotrod.com, your YouTube channel. Tell us how the tour works.
Sure. So basically every year we pick a different location. We generally start and stop where we did the previous year. So last year we ended in Baton Rouge. This year we'll begin in Baton Rouge. This year we will head from Louisiana up through Texas, through Oklahoma, and we'll finish in Kansas. And it basically is about 1,000 miles. We'll travel over 7 days. Every day we'll stop at basically a car show venue. Sometimes we'll have racing, sometimes we'll have demonstrations, but we'll always have a main stage and basically an area where local people can come for free. If they want to just come in and walk in and check out the cars, it's free to do so. If they want to participate and bring their vehicle, there is a fee that they can pay and become part of the show. And if they want to come along for the ride with us, almost like a concert tour, if you will, they're more than welcome to do so, even if they hadn't planned to or told us beforehand.
It's interesting, as you mentioned, you can show up, look at the cars, talk to the drivers and the mechanics, just talk shop, if you will, participate. Hey, I have a car, and by the way, let's talk about that. What sort of cars are you guys typically seeing at these events?
Sure. So the most common car we're going to see is going to end up being probably a Chevy Camaro. And in fact, I bet Chevys are going to be in of the top 10, they're probably going to be 6 of the top 10 slots will all be Chevrolet brands. Chevrolet is actually one of our big sponsors. It's a natural fit for this event. See the USA in your Chevrolet. That isn't a Power Tour slogan, that pre-existed, but it's clearly still true. You'll end up seeing, again, late model cars, some brand new that's still being financed, to something that a guy has pulled out of an old backyard or barn, fixed up, got running again, and bringing his family to share. And that's the beauty of a trip like this. It travels generally at back road speeds, not freeway speeds or highway speeds. So you can kind of roll the windows down and soak up the local environment. Again, things that you don't usually allow yourself to do in a modern pace. Power Tour allows you to do that and have a good time.
The Power Tour is actually June 11th through the 17th, and some people go from start to finish, right?
They do. We call those long haulers. So if you're willing to, and generally we have more than 1,000 people that will do that.
Really?
And it ends up being this great experience where people, they say it's not a bucket list item. It's kind of it's a yearly tradition where you become part of this critical mass of like-minded people. Again, hot rodders, people who love cars. They want to get together and they want to feel that connection. They want to stop at the local drive-in. They want to go see local auto parts or even kind of cool junkyards or things along the way. It's an experience you got to keep doing. My first one was probably back in 2001, and it just came near the town I lived in, and I had to go see it. I couldn't see the whole thing. I just needed to be part of it, and so I couldn't believe the number of cars and the license plates that I saw. And ever since then, it is the type of thing where you can't just say, well, I've done it and I'm over it. You get drawn back in.
You kind of get addicted to it. Hey, this is a cool thing. I want to be a part of this experience.
And you meet friends and you develop new relationships that you didn't know you had so much in common with other people until you get into this environment you see. Whether it's the same kind of car, the same kind of area, or similar backgrounds. It allows for people to come together, whether they're looking under the engine compartment or if they're checking out something that you've done or a paint job that you had or some sticker in the window even.
Chatting with David Kennedy. He's editor-in-chief of Hot Rod Magazine. He picked up a 2016 Chevy Camaro. He is doing the pre-tour right now. You started in Baton Rouge, went to Houston. What are you seeing so far?
Well, it's great for me. So I'm kind of a student of history. I like space travel. So obviously seeing Mission Control coming through parts of Texas that I wasn't familiar with. Yesterday I stopped in Bowie, Texas, where I saw this large Bowie knife on the side of the road. And again, at a power tour pace,
Of course.
You see that and you say, I don't know what that is. I didn't know I was coming through that town because I'm just following a route map. But I thought, I got to stop and check that out. And along the way, we went near Crawford, Texas, so I kind of saw where former President Bush was in his home. We went through Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas. So in a presidential election year, kind of a little tuned into presidential history.
Sure.
and background. And then I've seen racetracks, so it was a Royal Purple Raceway, and stopped there as I crossed the border, brought the car out onto the starting line. Didn't make a pass or anything, but got to see and kind of soak it up. So it's a little bit of everything. Motorsport, history, back roads, great people too. I ate at a great barbecue restaurant last night that they showed me pull in and they were closing down. They said, we still got something for you. Take your time, come eat with us.
I bet
Fantastic.
there are some cool cafes and diners that you'll see dotted across the roadways.
Yeah.
How's that Camaro?
It's great. In fact, it's so good that I'm worried about my driver's license in some cases. We were talking that some of these back roads are fast here, and you can find yourself setting the cruise control. That particular car has a heads-up display that shows you the speed on the windshield, which is critical because you can creep up a little quicker than you'd expect to be going, listen to the radio, and just making good time. So it's still getting really good fuel economy. It runs 11s in the quarter mile, which makes it quicker and better performing than most of the cars we'll see on Power Tour. Has air conditioning, 8-speed automatic transmission, so it's super easy to drive and really comfortable. So I'm very grateful to have that to scout out this trip.
Hot Rod Magazine's Power Tour, as we mentioned, June 11th through the 17th. 125,000 spectators expected along that tour. Stops in Oklahoma City Wednesday, June 15th at Remington Park from noon to 7 p.m. More information can be found at hotrod.com as far as what you can do, how you can participate if you want to join in, or the whole tour, if that's the case.
Sure, and if you want to see what we're doing right now, if you go to our Instagram account, Hot Rod Magazine, #PowerTour, you'll see what we're doing, you'll see what other people are building to prepare, you'll see videos and photos. People, again, across the country and around the world kind of building towards this kickoff on June 11th. It's really great, and certainly time to come and get something ready if you're not planning. Great summer vacation.
Certainly sounds that way. Great to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you as well. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Best of luck with this. Have a lot of success and have a lot of fun.
It'll be a great time. Thank you for having us here, and we look forward to coming through your hometown.
Sounds great.